Howdy, howdy, American Texan here, and I'm here with Bendless to talk about the biggest news in Wonders of the First. And by the way, we probably haven't met yet. Spoiler alert, I figure if I'm going to be at Houston SCG, you're going to figure out who I look like, so might as well put a face to the name. And yes, I am more handsome than my comic avatar here, which we are working on. We are working on getting a more accurate AI representation of the American Texan. But I'm glad to do this interview here with Mr. Bendless. Mr. Bendless, how are you, sir?
Doing good, man. Happy to be here. It was a
All
crazy
right.
day.
It has been a wild day. If you are in the Wonders of the First Discord, we've had threads and threads and threads and comments on the new Wonders of the First update that just came out today at the time of recording, September 15th, yesterday when this video goes live. And in this video, we're going to talk about the news. I think we're going to talk mostly about the tournament bin list, but we can talk a little bit about the Call of the Stones update that came along. And so we'll actually hit that first. So going through the press release that came out for Call of the Stones, Wonders of the First, we get some bad news to start off with. You know, we're going to eat our vegetables first here, and that is that Call of the Stones set 2 for Wonders of the First is being delayed to February 2026. Benless, how does that make you feel?
You know what? I feel okay about it personally. I've done some digesting today. Trying to obviously think about how you feel, and then you think about, okay, how's the community feel? Because I'm always interested in just the community as a whole and like how people are going to perceive the news. For me, I am okay with it, honestly. And I think the biggest thing, and this is more particular to my case, but I've been playing this game since the beginning, and I've got a really like intimate understanding of the existence set and the cards. And when the competitive tournaments circuit started, I was all excited and building decks. And with Vegas coming up, the plan was supposed to be Call of the Stones comes out, and then there's like a 2 to 3 week buffer window before what is the World Championships. And I was thinking, whoa, like to me, that seemed a bit odd because I felt like there should be more time for people to get caught up and play with the new cards. Now, for those watching, I am part of the play test team, the internal play test team. So I have seen and played with the cards. So that was kind of another thing. It almost felt like I and some of the other folks that are in there like had an advantage in a way. And I was kind of just feeling overwhelmed about all of it, really, because there's still so much to explore in this set. And I think hearing that it got pushed back felt like a little bit of a reprieve in a way, because instead of the rushed feeling to get the new Shattering announced and travel for that, and then like how does that play with, for me personally, traveling to Vegas and stuff like that, it feels like there's just some breathing room now.
Yeah, it says in the press release, the team pushed hard, but we were unable to make the print deadline. We had to take our licks, move our print time back. We understand where we came up short, and they're actively adding additional talent, including 2 new senior level hires in the last 10 days, with a focus on the areas where we struggled the most to ship on time. And so it sounds like, the team really got together and really pushed to get the set ready, but they missed the print window. And that's what it sounds like to me. Is that kind of what you're hearing too?
Yeah, and I'm like on the playtest team, but I don't have any kind of like inside knowledge in terms of how the companies run or their decisions or anything like that. So I'm very much like receiving that news with everybody else. I do know that they were pushing to get this out. Like that, everything that you see in Discord, especially when the team, right, like the people that are involved in the team chime in, including Frenchie at the top. They're straight shooters, and like I know they wanted to have this out because what happened last year, which we'll touch on, and people know the game, with the delay and the pushback of the existence set and the Kickstarter orders and everything. I know that they didn't want that to happen again, but I also know that there's issues with the printer and being a small fish in a big pond, which a lot of people don't realize. That's something I have heard from a few different people that I don't think the community is aware of, that even though this is a established company and they have some great games, they're very small potatoes in comparison to like the like Magic and Pokemon and Upper Deck and all the sports card companies. Like, it's hard to get in line, and you basically have to just, if they decide to push you back, just sit down and shut up, right? So
Yep.
yeah, I think it was not something that they wanted to happen, but um, they've done this before. They've figured out a way how do we scramble, make it work, and still keep people happy in the meantime. So I think they'll do their best to try and do the same.
Yep. And they continue on the opportunity cost as well as the reputational slash goodwill cost of missing print deadlines is high, and we must do better. Must do better is bolded. But for now, Call of the Stones is delayed until February, and we will work hard to make lemonade from the lemons and delight you all the best we can. In the meantime, expect the distribution and returning customer pre-sale in late October. For me, I'm actually happy with this. Because number one, I'm still working on building out my Umbrathine rainbow formless foil rainbow set, and I'm down to like one or two epics formless foil, and then I think 7 formless foil mythics. So to not have to worry about chasing the next set, while also still trying to finish the last set. I feel like it gives me a few more months to try to chase those cards, especially with the announcement that we'll get into next. I think a lot more dragon packs are going to get opened, a lot more cases are going to get opened, and so hopefully some more of those formless foil mythics will come out. Worst case, I'll save up and I'll buy a printed sheet and I'll cut out my own formless foil mythic out of the sheet, because that's what's important to me. I know everyone's going to cringe hearing that, but I'll trade away the other formless foil mythics. But for me, that sounds good. Plus, I am just a little dolphin in this sea of whales and collectors. My total investment in Wonders, while it is more than the average player, I think it for me, it gives me a little bit more breathing room to say, all right, I got a couple more months now to go out and make some sales, earn some commission, and have some extra spending money that I can put towards this without having to worry about, again, paying for this upcoming release while still chasing the stuff before that. So I am actually a little bit more relieved. Now, I know that that's not what some people are. Some people are frustrated. I know we've got some collectors out there that have completed their sets. They've already got the play set, which I always thought was wild, building a play set out of all the collector boxes before we had play boosters. I'm like, play boosters are coming out. We got 2 years to build a play set. Like, I'm not in a rush for that. But that was me personally. We got people that have already built their play set. There's people that have already got one of every formless foil, so their set's complete, their collection's complete. They're not chasing anything else. And so now they're sitting on their hands for a little bit longer. I think maybe now they might crack open dragon boxes, maybe to get some money for Christmas or get some money for Call of the Stones once they release that information on what's coming. But for me, I'm overall, I am a little bit more relieved with this information. It gives me just a little bit more time. But I totally understand the frustration with this. What do you think?
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, we're pretty much similar there. I kind of mentioned some of the gameplay perspective. You kind of hit on the collecting, which I would second that as well. I think I would consider myself pretty even player collector. I mean, since the Kickstarter, I've every free dollar I've probably had, I've put into Wonders. I just very much enjoy buying cards, building my collections. I'm 2 away from a full formless foil set, so it's like I'm on it, and I felt the same way. There was a bit of a overwhelm kind of feeling sometimes with like COTS coming out, and I'm still trying to finish my set. And then I have a list of cards like with some of the promos and some of like the OCMs of like favorite cards that I have. And like feeling like I kind of have some unfinished business there. So it was a bit overwhelming with like the new set coming out. But yeah, on the flip side, I think it's important to acknowledge like, the other side of things. And a lot of people are more interested in having fresh and new, right? Which I totally understand, fresh and new stuff. And they have been doing the Dutch auctions for the Call of the Stones boxes the last few months, right? So people do have some money in this. It's different this time because instead of having all the folks' money wrapped up in the Kickstarter, it's more so a much smaller amount of product because it's for the serialized advantage boxes, and that like those went primarily to people that are already backers, believers of the game. It's a little different, but I think it's going to be, I'd be interested to see if they get a way to poll everybody, right now. I'd love to see, if there, we had a live ticker on the screen, like where are people at? Because I think it's going to be a mixed bag.
Yeah. And I think there's a type of player out there that goes in hard maybe burns out. I think we've seen some of that. People went a little too hard. They didn't have money for life expensive, no
Mhm.
cushion, no emergency fund, so they had to sell off some of their collection. I think we've got some folks that may get a little antsy sitting on their cards, and unfortunately, they might leave the game in these final months of the year because there just hasn't been so much, and maybe something else comes out that gets their fancy. And again, with limited funds, maybe they sell off some of their cards, go chase something else. I know it feels like there's a lot of people selling off their collections, maybe two or three a week at this point. But again, when you consider just how many millions of dollars we've got in this product, in the ecosystem, whether that's in actual cash or capital investment to the company or from the cryptocurrency that they're using for the block. What do you call it? BPX? Is that the name of the
Yep.
cryptocurrency for
Hmm.
the Dragon boxes? That's above my pay grade or payout grade. But I think it's good. Now, going into the good news here, Call of the Stones is going to be a big swing for the fences, and we are excited to share the details, parentheses, which we will do before the presale, unquote. Our goal for 2026 is clear. Increase Wonders of the First gameplay exponentially. We won't change our ideal player avatar. We target players who also collect. But collectability is woven into our DNA more than any other fantasy CCG, and we believe that we will continue to shine through while we find more collectors who also want to play. When they say they want to increase Wonders of the First gameplay exponentially, I believe, are one of the top players in the world right now. What do you think that sounds like to you? Do you think that means that we're going to get one set, two sets? Is there going to be more game options? How do you see Wonders of the First gameplay exponentially showing out?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think today at one point I saw a couple of the team members comment because I know they were trying to be available today after the news. I think they wanted to kind of jump in and
Yeah.
make sure that they were starting to field some of those initial questions. And I did see a couple of them mention that they're shooting for two sets a year, or two releases a year. So if that starts in 2026 with Call of the Stones, then they may be looking to do like a spring and fall release. I'm not sure beyond that, but I think the release is going to help quite a bit. I know that the plan all along has been to come out with Call of the Stones play product right at the time of the collector product, which is a big, issue as far as the separation between the two with existence. So just having those out is going to be huge. Also, I think it was today or yesterday, people started posting pictures of the play bundles from Existence on store shelves in Target, which is
Yeah.
huge, huge. And we also know that this is Target's nationwide. Whereas before it was, I think, a limited number, or I don't know what the percentage was, but now it's confirmed that like every Target should carry Wonders of the First in their relatively small gaming section. So when you factor in, I think the two set releases, the play boosters coming right away in February, along with what are now on the shelves from this current set, it's going to be in more hands. It's going to be able to get to more local game stores. I know that they mentioned a lot about partnerships with LGS, local game stores, with COTS. I know they've reserved a certain number of these serialized Advantage Dragon boxes for local game stores as well, because that's going to be a big way to kind of start getting into these communities. Now, outside of that, I know they're going to continually do like organized play. I don't know if I'm assuming SCG Con again as it continues forward and having prize support, which will pick up players. But one thing that I think is currently untapped, but huge, huge potential is just general marketing budget because from what little bit I know, and I'd love if someone could fact check or maybe add in a comment or something, but Jeff French, that's at the top of the company, is CEO. He has just astounding resume in business and running companies that um, do
Not
incredible
if you
things
ask
in
the
marketing.
YouTube comments, but continue.
Hey, if yeah, so again, I'd love to hear some other opinions from what I've heard as far as his background, though, and like he has come from the industry where
Mhm.
that's not like outside his realm, right? So I just would have to think that, or maybe hope is a better word, since I'm sort of an investor in this game as well, that um, that's like a card that he can play. I
Yeah.
guess pun intended here. It's like the guy, I believe, has the ability to, once I think they're ready, and I think once this product is on shelves and they feel like they're kind of caught up, right, with kind of what they got
Hmm.
behind the eight ball on. I think it's the matter of like just turning that engine on, and if that just gets blasted out to people, and it's how it works, right? If just
Yep.
more ears and eyes are on the game, I think that's going to naturally draw more players.
And look, I believe in Frenchie. When I did my Call of the Stones investigative, when went frame by frame on their Call of the Stones playtest gathering video, I'll
Oh
put a
yeah,
link in the corner of my video. People complain. People send me messages like, "Hey, you're spending too much time talking about how they're running the team and the business rather than actually getting into the cards that might be spoiled on the table and in the background." And I thought, yeah, that's true. I actually looked at it like 2/3 of the video was just me like, oh, I like how they're taking care of the team this way, and even
yeah,
looking at what they were eating, like they were eating healthy foods, right? Because they're focused on the task at hand. So in Frenchie, we trust.
yes,
I'm in that camp there because I think he's got a head on his shoulder that is focused on target. And just some of the language he uses reminds me a lot of the people that I sought out in business mentorship, and I think that's something that I look forward to. I believe in the team. You know, when you look at the people, you want to look when you look at a business, you want to look at the people running it. Same thing with like church ministries. You want to look at the people running it. It's not just the machine, the cogs, but the people behind it. So I believe in Frenchie. I know this is all growing pains. This is all like, oh man, like I wish we could have done it this way. But I think unlike Boba, I think we have such a more complex game atmosphere with a little bit more playability focused than Boba. And I know Boba people are going to get real upset at me, but since we have that more complication, there's a little bit more playtesting involved. Probably a little more things to check as far as like what cards are going to come together, what abilities need to be tweaked. Because another thing is no reprints, so we got to get it as good
yep,
as possible on the first one. So the delay does have a silver lining. The press release reads, with this delay, the existing set now gets a chance to shine bright with its own world championship. And I love that. That's what you were saying.
mm-hmm.
Now we don't have to worry about Call of the Stones coming in. And I know there's some concern because playtesters are allowed to compete in tournaments. Is that correct? So you guys get a
That's
little bit more
correct.
time with that. And that's a different interview for a different time. But continuing on the press release, it says, in hindsight, not having a world championship prior to releasing the second set was a mistake. Although the delay although the delay had nothing to do with trying to fix that misstep, the existence set getting its own chance to shine on the most competitive stage is very much a positive side effect. We would like to invite everyone to participate in the World Wonders of the First World Championship in Vegas. We are excited to officially announce the available cash prize pool will be $125,000. And Bendless, you got some drool coming off there. You can go ahead and
Yeah,
wipe off when I said that. Smaller events and on-demand play will have prizes and promos, but the big cash money prizes will go to two specific constructed divisions running concurrently. That's at the same time he went to public school like I did. And players, continuing on, and players will only be able to sign up for one of the two. This is being done intentionally so that we have a different top 8 and winner in each division. There will be there will be other ancillary events, so you will have plenty to do at the World Championship. So I love this existence, getting its own World Championship. We don't have to worry about having only a week or two to try to find cards that might fit a deck. And obviously you want to play test the deck before you take it to obviously something called the World Championships. And not only that, we'll get into the specific cups ahead of, next, but we're actually going to have two cups or two tournaments, like the name tournaments, going on at the same time, which I love, and we'll get into it. Let's actually talk about what the different tournaments are. The first one is the one that we've always known about, the Stoneseeker World Cup 2025. The prize pool is officially now $25,000 cash plus a champion prize card and top 8 promo cards and more. I'm assuming this is going to be similar to like what y'all did at the Shattering. There's going to be a winner card and then a top 8 placement card. Is that right? Is that what it
yeah,
sounds like?
that's
Yeah.
that's what it looks like. So yeah, what you're talking about now seems like what was expected. Yep.
Okay, cool. And then the entry fee is $50, and then they put a parenthetical to like justify it, and I'm
Yeah.
like, if you're going to compete in something called the World Cup, $50 sounds cheap, even if you didn't get anything.
Yeah.
But for your $50 entry fee, you get a play bundle and event promo when you check in. So it's basically better than free. The entry fee serves as a deterrent against no-shows. Honestly, as a deterrent against no-shows for a $25,000 cash prize, I think that the entry fee would be bigger. But maybe because it's the first year,
Yeah.
I guess that's what they're going to do. So that's fine with me.
Yeah, oh yeah, I was thinking the same thing. It's never hurts probably when you mention money just to throw that in there, just for someone's gonna try to jump on it. But I mean, I competed in Orlando. Yeah, I get it. When I competed in Orlando, it was the same thing. It was $50 to enter one of the main events, and then we got the really cool the first promo card. So it's like you could turn around and sell that for 3 to 4 times as much. So it's like it's a no brainer. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. And then the format is constructed. We mentioned that before. The DBS limit, the deck balance system limit, is going to be 1,000. So that's staying with that same concurrent. Hey, this is the World Cup. We're going to use kind of the standard that we balance our cards for at 1,000. And the prizes, we kind of mentioned champion, top 8 prize cards, along with promo cards and other product prizes will be awarded, in addition to the $25,000 cash allotted to this division. So it sounds like maybe top two are going to get the cash prize. Top 3, 4 might get a dragon box, something like that. Do you remember the prize pool from Orlando SCG? Someone got dragon boxes, right?
Yeah, so in Orlando, they had 2 main events as well. The Saturday event was like this. It was the constructed DBS 1000, and the winner got a numbered to 99 orbital box, which was awesome. Wow. And then it went different prize support from there. So it was like a collector box and something else. And then like it kind of went down. So the top 8 all got something pretty cool. Actually, the top 16 got something product wise. And the next day was the cash support for the sealed tournament, which was 10,000 in Orlando. And that, I don't remember the exact breakdown, but it was like obviously most for first, and then it went all the way down. So all 16 or all top 16 of the 32. So half the people that participated got some cash. So I would imagine it's gonna be similar. Like when you see, I think I'm not a competitive card guy in general. This is like Wonders is like my first foray into this world, but I'm starting to learn that when they have those cash prizes, it's not like the winner goes home with a bag of $25,000. It's more like here's the support for the grouping, right? So it's probably like I don't know, maybe I'd guess 10K for the winner, 15, I don't know, and then kind of maybe tiers down from there.
Yeah, I love that. And that's pretty much what we expected. Maybe not the actual cash prize or the entry fee, but, pretty much we expected, okay, constructed, bring your deck, bring your best deck, pilot it, DBS. We kind of knew that this was expected. The big news, however, is the Dragon Cup of 2025. And this one, I'm actually going to jump ahead in the press release because I think the second paragraph here, the way they explain it actually should be explained before the details of the entrance.
Agreed.
So here's what they say. The Dragon Cup 2025. Okay. The press release reads, attention collectors that don't actually play. The Dragon Cup is your chance to build decks and enjoy the amazing gameplay of Wonders vicariously by entering your deck for someone else to drive. Imagine you're a race car team owner and you own the car, hire a driver, and split the purse however you decide. You don't even have to be in attendance to have a deck in the event, and we will safely vault your deck for a nominal fee. Your player can use lower cost non-foil versions in the actual event. And here's the special deck rules for the Dragon Cup. So again, this is, to preface this is the luxury top tier, like you got to put on your big boy boots to play in this or to even be a part of it. Because decks must be entirely pre-release foils, formless foils, OCMs, and or stone foils. Okay, so you're talking about only first edition cards, right? There's no other first edition printed cards, right?
No.
Besides those pre-release formless foils, OCMs, and stone foils.
Mm-hmm.
At least 25 cards must be stone foils or OCM. So at least 25 must be serialized. The remainder of the deck must be formless or pre-release foils. In addition to your standard cards, tokens must also be stone foils, OCMs, or formless foils. So that is the deck that you have to put together to enter the Dragon Cup. Now here's the Dragon Cup rule details, right? Prize pool, cash prize, Bendless, $100,000 cash plus a champion prize card and top 8 promo cards and more. $100,000 cash on the line. And I don't know. I'm assuming it's going to be the same champion prize card. I can't imagine them doing a different one for the Dragon Cup. What do you think?
I don't know, man. This is where I don't know, because this news is not what I expected. I had a busy work day. I saw the announcement come through. I'm kind of like sort of looking at it, just like, okay, yeah, like, okay, it's going to be delayed, bummer. And then I'm looking at the constructed tournament. And then I had to stop because the Dragon Cup stuff came, and that was just out of left field completely. I did not see that coming. I don't know if any game's ever done this before. I don't know enough to even comment. But this rocked me, and clearly you just said it, out of 125,000, 25, 100, like they're saying, hey, here's the luxury, like you said, the luxury version. Like, here's where we're really putting the majority of the cake. So, this is the wild thing for me. And because I am a collector, like, I'm very stoked on this and already thinking about how I can pull off, like, putting a deck together with what I want to do. And then this is really what lit up, I think, the Discord today, and got a lot of I'm assuming they thought about this, but this also kickstarted a lot of trade and sales, because now everyone's that has cards that don't plan on necessarily competing or doing that, or hello, hi, I got cards, come on over, check them out. And then people that are looking to maybe slide into this, that's a lot of money. Like,
Yep.
So we'll see how it goes.
The prize pool is $100,000 cash. Now, the entry fee is $250, which again sounds, in comparison, right? $250 for your entry fee. But you also get the standard event promo and a Dragon Cup exclusive promo when you check in. So there's your little Dragon Cup exclusive. And the cash pool will pay out deep, with all positions guaranteed at least a $200 payout, so that everyone will see some expense offset just for playing. So it's actually, and then they keep going with the little parenthetical. So It's actually way better than free, factoring payout depth plus promos. The entry fee just serves as a deterrent against no-shows. So that is the entry fee, but you're going to get that back plus more. Now, the other thing you need to enter, all players must have at least one stone foil. Not in the deck. You just have to show that you have a stone foil in your possession or in the vault, like they say. It's kind of like a separate. It's your golden ticket, right? Is the stone foil. What do you think about that? Does that severely limit? Gosh, there's only how many stone foils? 480? Is that 440? Something like that?
I want to say it's 480 or 481 or something like that.
Yeah, 481. There you go.
That number's in my head, which is specific. So it's either that. I don't know where I came up with that. But yes, and then, that's how many exist. However, I want to say 200 approximately have been opened, right? So right there, you're thinking, well, wow, wait a minute. Now, how many people can really end up playing in this? It starts to get you thinking about how exclusive this could really be, which then really kicks up the chatter of people showing off their stone foils and, hey, who wants to. And this takes us back, and why I agree with you that, like, the piece about, like, the NASCAR metaphor and, like, sponsoring a car kind of maybe should have tucked under that, because it's like, oh wow, like, we can start having people striking deals on the side and, like, hey, I have a stone foil, I can get you in. But that was like the humdinger, like, last piece to this, because, like, yes, like, okay, the card treatments, the OCMs, but OCMs are out of 99 or to 250 or all the way down to 10 for mythics. But stone foils are the holy grail chases. Everyone knows these things are crazy, crazy hard to find. A lot of people I shouldn't say a lot. The people that have them pretty much have one, with the exception of, a few people that have, like, some of the whales, quote unquote, that have, amassed 5, 10, 15, whatever it is, very few number of, living, breathing people that have those. So that's what really makes it, I don't want to use the word divisive, but, like, this is going to be a talking point when it comes down to the stone foil as the ticket. and that's what's going to get a lot of the chatter. But makes sense. Makes sense.
My question is the logistics on what does it mean that you have at least one stone foil? Because, you and I both know, even though we're new to the competitive circuit, you can rent a card for a competition. I can take my Market of Lost Wonders to the Houston SCG. I got 2 of them, and I can say, hey, for $20, you can use this for the day. Just give it back to me at the end of the day, right? You can rent cards for competition, but how does that work with stone foils? Because this is your ticket in. Does that mean that I'm just making up a number, but let's say Legendary Breaks has 5 stone foils. I don't know if he has more or less than that. Does that mean he has 5 tickets that he can give away, or does he have to show some kind of like, I traded this or I sold it for this, therefore now they are the official owner? Has there been any talk about that on the Discord? I don't think I've seen that.
That's a great question. I did
ask that in the Discord.
Yeah, I did a fairly quick peruse of the chatter today. I didn't see anyone asking, or maybe I saw some chatter, but not anyone really commenting on that. And that's really what is the big question here, are the details now. It's okay, give us the details of this, because I saw it in a few different spots about how you, like you mentioned, you could vault the cards for a nominal fee, and like you have to prove that you have them or own them. But if they're also saying and getting out in front of this, because my guess is that they thought about it or talked about it internally, and they're like, well, here's what's going to happen. People that have stone foils are going to, right? So it's almost like they got ahead of it by like making it an element to this and having a paragraph with the NASCAR metaphor. So they can't just say that like, like as far as like proof of ownership, and you would have to have some kind of process that confirms that you are the holder of it, even if temporarily. I don't know what that looks like. What do you have to like go on a Zoom call with one of the team members? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how they're going to do that logistically. They must be figuring something out, because when we're talking like, zoom back out here, $100,000, right? Like, this is when you have that much money on the line, everything is heightened big time, right?
Yeah.
So they have to make sure that this is airtight. And again, to my knowledge, I don't have a greatest, gaming knowledge as far as what's all out there, but I don't think something like this has been done before. So
I don't think so. And that's what makes it so exciting, but also so scary. It is, what does this mean? Like, who's going to be competing? I think another question I had that just came up while you were talking is, can one collector create 2 decks and field 2 pilots to have basically 2 spots, or is he only allowed to have 1 spot and 1 pilot? I want to find that out too. Not because I plan on playing, but because I'm just interested. Now, continuing with the Dragon Cup final things here, the format is constructed with those special deck rules. 25 OCMs or stone foil, and then the rest have to be first edition. DBS limit 1,000. And then the prizes doesn't give the specific breakdown. Champion and top 8 prize cards, along with promo cards and other product prizes, will be awarded in addition to the $100,000 cash allocated to this division. So that's pretty much all the information here. I'll quickly go through the Discord and kind of touch on a few things. But my question to you, Bendless, the thing that gets my mind thinking the most, instead of counting sheep, I'm going to be counting pilots here. And I'll ask you, maybe you have a preference, and if you don't want to say, by all means, don't say. But my question is, what is this going to do to the pilots? So, for example, in the World Cup, when it was just the World Cup, we knew the best of the best were going to be there. But are there going to be some pilots now that instead go to the Dragon Cup to give? So does the player capacity, so to speak, if we had to put everyone on a spectrum and you got the top of the top, does the top of the top move over to the Dragon Cup, knowing they're going to be piloting someone else's deck? They're going to be sharing their name with the championship. They're going to be, yes, a bigger prize pool, but maybe their name means a lot more. Not piloting the deck that they want, because we'll talk about deck building for the Dragon Cup. It's going to be a little bit more limited, right? Like you said, there's only 10 mythic 10 mythic serialized. There's only, I don't know how many, 40 or 50 formless foil mythics out there. So, it's going to be very difficult for someone to say field 2 Nexus Phasebringer deck, right? And you may have the only one. So anyways, as a player, what do you think that's going to do to the player pool? Like, are those top best of the best, sir, guys going to go to the Dragon Cup and be sponsored? Or are they maybe going to want to stay with the World Cup? And kind of, where are you going with that? What are you thinking?
That's a tremendous question that I haven't put much thought into yet, honestly. And I'm seeing some conversations happening behind the scenes, some that I'm a part of, as far as like, hey, what are you thinking? What are you doing? And for me personally, I'm intrigued by this Dragon Cup because of my situation and having also been a collector and like just not knowing this was going to happen. I've just enjoyed collecting the cards, and I have a lot of pre-release slabs, and I have a couple stone. I have two stone foils that I just wanted to have for my own personal collection, and it feels now like I have the goods to be able to put together a very solid deck. But then on the flip side, I'm thinking like I also want to compete with the best players and like you know what I mean, and like go after
Mm-hmm.
like that crown to like show what I can do from a actual like skill gameplay perspective. Not saying that that won't be in the other one, but it opens up that debate, right? Like,
Yeah.
and this is what's going to be so interesting to see. Like, I'm thinking of some of the guys that are friends of mine that finished top 2, 4 in the constructed tournament in Orlando. What are they going to do? Because
Mm-hmm.
when you think about being the top Stoneseeker, but then you look over and there's a bag of 100K on the other side, you got to take a second look.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think it's going to come down to, and this is not a long time horizon here either. Let's remember, like
Yeah.
this announcement was made, and I checked the dates. I'm like, well, September 15th as of recording. I'm like, we're just over 2 months away from this. So like, this is not
Yep.
even that much time with people in busy lives to go hunt down cards. And even like if you're going to be competing in the world championships, you're starting to play test now. Like me and some
Mm-hmm.
buddies are like already like we need to have our decks getting ready for this. So we're gonna see what happens. I think it's gonna like instead of become kind of a movement thing where we see this happen or this happen. I think it's gonna come down to the individual and what their motivations are. Kind of going back to how you asked the question, right? I think if you're someone that seeks more so like maybe you don't have and want to go chase after all that and you want to just be the best player, you go that route. If you're someone that um, is just like, no, dude, 100K, like I'm going after the money, like that, then you don't care
Yeah.
about that other
Yeah.
stuff. So I think it's going to really come down to the person. I think we're going to have, I know we'll have a lot of great players in the Stoneseeker Cup, right? That's going to be very gameplay focused. It's going to be the traditional, let's go, I'm going for that top prize. But like, who's going to make up that grouping in the Dragon Cup? Is it going? I feel like it's going to be a bit of a mixture. I think you're going to have some of the,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say crossovers, but you know what I mean. You're going to have some of the people that hop over that really are serious in their gameplay, and then you're going to have some people entering because, damn, look at that money. I
Yeah.
learned to play. I have a stone foil. What's keeping me from playing? Right.
Well, not
So,
only that, something that you bring up, some players are in it for the cash. Top eight in now it was sealed, I think, in Orlando. They were all Magic players. They were just there to compete for the cash prize. Do you think some
mm,
collectors, and this is just opinion, do you think some collectors are like, hey, I know we've got some great Wonders players, and they're probably all getting up, so I'm just going to go look for people who are game theory focused and can learn the game in 2 months? I mean, we had guys learning the game the night before in Orlando.
mm.
Do you think some collectors might go that route, and do you think that's going to sour anything?
I think some might. I think again, it's up to each person. I hate to like group like collectors do this or them do that, but I think there's going to be some collectors slash investors because that starts to become a line that's a separate topic you could do a video on later. Or I think you already did. But anyways, yes, I think there's going to be some hardcore collectors, whales, whatever, that are going to maybe identify that some of those players. Now, again, in the next 8 weeks, I'm not sure, but if this becomes a regular thing, it's going to could look very different next year. And without going too far yet, yes, I was in Orlando and I played against some of said Magic players. One of whom was a MTG Pro player. I sat down with him at the table. Very nice, humble guy, kind of quiet. I'm thinking like, okay, like this should, I should be good here. And he proceeded to whoop me all over the table. I think I lost like 6 stones to 1 or something. I think
Wow.
he let me have one kind of at the end.
Okay.
and the nicest guy. And he told me afterwards he was an MTG pro, and I was like, "How long you been playing?" He's like, "Oh, well, I learned on Friday night, and it's Sunday afternoon." So, so yeah. Now that was sealed, so limited format, a little different, but
Hmm.
I think the point that I want to make here is that as in depth as the gameplay is and tremendous as the gameplay is, I think one of the things that makes it different from other card games and Magic, which I do have some history in, is that you can step in and be competitive right off the bat. It doesn't necessarily mean that maybe you're going to place in the very top, but with the way the game is, as far as you go, I go, you go, I go, we
Hmm.
both get the same number of actions, or we're granted the same number of actions. Obviously, the gameplay changes it, but you could learn and take a crash course in 8 weeks or 4 weeks and go throw your hat in that ring and not necessarily worry about getting embarrassed, right? So
Yep.
I think the nature of the game makes this another intriguing element, because someone that's maybe sort of newer to the game that normally wouldn't touch world championships or even think about making that trip is now very, very interested. And just by like maybe even getting some help, right? Because now we have this whole
Hmm.
dynamic of like, where's the help coming from? Are you getting sponsored by somebody to get the cards you need? You could go into it, and however many they have, I don't know what the total number is going to be. I know they didn't want to say yet. They probably want to see who's expressing interest, but if it's 32 spots and you get money all the way down through, you might be happy just having your ticket to ride.
Yep. Yeah, I'd be happy if I had a stone foil. I could probably make a deck with my mostly common formless foil collection here, and just go in there and just hope for the best. Because that's, one of the things that makes Wonders of the First fantastic is someone could make a deck that is mostly commons and uncommons OCMs. In the rest formless foil, maybe that's the actual cards they need, because a lot of the most powerful cards, a lot of the most utility cards that we have are common, uncommon. So there's more of those out there. But
Mm.
I think what drives my curiosity with this is when you go into the standard tournament, the World Cup, the Stoneseeker World Cup. You're bringing your best deck. Your opponent is bringing their best deck that they know inside and out. You know your deck inside and out. You may know their deck inside and out. But I feel like you're going to have a little bit more of a grab bag with the Dragon Cup. I think maybe, and I could totally be wrong. I could totally be wrong with this, but I'm thinking maybe the top eight, just looking at the deck construction, are going to be your normal meta decks, something that you'd find in a normal tournament or play. But I think most of the decks are going to be not thrown together with what you have, but maybe a cross of two decks or an under optimized deck, because maybe you don't have all the cards or OCMs that you need to get to the deck that you want. Maybe it only has one Nexus instead of two that you
Mm-hmm.
want. So I think we'll see some decks that are under optimized or maybe just only there, and then have some filler cards that you're able to fill. I think another question is going to be, when are you submitting these decks? Do you not submit the deck registration until you get there? Do you have until the day before to do that, or are they going to want it ahead of time? Are they going to want to vault the whole deck, or maybe just the Stonefoil? I don't remember if I read that or not. But the kind of player in the Dragon Cup, I think, is going to be more exciting to watch, because they don't know what they're going into. They'll know their deck. They'll know their deck in and out, but I don't know if they'll know what to expect, if they'll be ready for a meta deck. And the thing that I love about these tournaments, that I know the Stoneseeker Society is really going to be pushing for, is tournaments with limitations, because that's how we
Mm.
find new combos, new metas, new things that you never really thought of. Like we were talking about Durambe and Gem Primordial in the gameplay discussion a couple days ago in the Discord. So I think there could be some fun stuff coming with this. But I think the player that, if you were just looking at type of play, I think the player that's comfortable, wants to use what he knows or she knows against a competitor, and maybe what they know or what they have, so you kind of know what's expecting. The World Cup seems a little bit more of your place. Whereas if you're in it, not just for the cash prize, but you're real heavy into the theory, you're real loose on your feet, you kind of know action economy, and maybe if you can find out who sponsors, you'll know exactly kind of what they're running in their deck. I think can be a lot of fun to see how that shapes up. Now, as far as for lack of a better word, divisiveness, this did get a lot of people discussing fervently. Some collectors were happy, some collectors were unhappy, some players were happy, some players were unhappy. The way I see it, Bendless, is this is like we had a UFC match, we had a boxing match, we had a card set up, and they're just adding a bigger headliner title weight card on top of everything else. It's not taking away from what's already existing. It's just adding something for the heavyweights to come in and do this. And those heavyweights are collectors because let's be honest, you can build a really nice meta hard hitting deck for, I don't know, what do you think? $300, $400, $500 like at the most right now?
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you want to build a deck for the Dragon Cup, you're looking at least 3,000 or 4,000. I mean, that's a totally different class of person.
Oh yeah. I mean, the stone foil ticket alone is going to probably run you 2,000, right?
Yeah.
And then the OCA,
Nowadays,
yeah.
Now after this announcement, yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, actually, good point. Yeah, as of yesterday, but as of today, probably a lot more. So yeah, that's you got some great thoughts here, great questions, clearly well prepared. I think you're dead on, man. I would agree with that.
Buddy, I am shooting from the hip.
I was gonna say
it's just how my brain thinks.
I would agree. I would agree that yeah, when now with the meta, because that term's thrown around a lot, I still don't think this game has kind of a true meta. Now we've only had really one SCG con level like national tournament. Like, we've had some small things, but this was the first real time where there was a good amount of runway for players to build decks and come ready to rock. And the top four all had very similar deck builds. There's a lot of Patria, some of the same cards in there. From talking with some of the team, they expected the meta to be a little different. I think we will still see a lot of different decks in the next couple tournaments. But yeah, I mean, going into as far as preparation, you do start to think, like, what am I going to face? What do I have to be prepared for? Because you know that anyone can build anything they want because it gets paper cards. It's just like, we have the set, paper cards, it is what it is. Like, you're really like everyone, the idea is that someone starts running a few different deck archetypes take hold, and then everyone plays some version of that, right? With little modifiers. No one's really going to know. There's no way to know. We can guess all day how this Dragon Cup's going to look. There is no way to know who's going to show up. There's going to be people building decks in silence. There's going to be people building them very publicly, everything in between. Whoever shows up to that tournament, and however many, I think it's going to be a little wonky. I think you're right. I think there's going to be the ones that maybe, like, I think Cream will still rise to the top in most cases because, for example, I was looking at, I'm not saying I'm going to place in the top, but just when I was thinking before our call, I'm looking at the guidelines again. Like, okay, this is shocking at first. Let me really stop a second. Okay, Stonefoil. I'm reading it again. When you factor in, that you can have like the formless foil cards, and like I think the pre-release are going to also be eligible. It starts to expand to a level of where you can kind of see it coming together, especially if you start tapping into your friends and you're like, hey, do you have a formless blank, right? I think that people are going to be able to put together still pretty similar decks to what they would ideally want to. But I liked your point there on like the Nexus example. Like, there's going to be some of those like little blips where it's like, oh, I can't field two, but I can pull off one. And then maybe if you need three of a certain land in your deck that you normally go to, like, I got 50 of these. I looked at my collection, I got 50. You might only be able to two instead of three, right? And that might not look like much to the average player, average person, but I think when you get to that really tight play among top players, like in top 8, those little differences of one card being there versus one not will have a massive impact. So I still do believe that the top 8 decks in the Dragon Cup, this is as of, having 2 hours to think about it, I still believe that, yeah, they will look similar to the other side. And maybe not exact, but I think the people that are going to join in that and do well are either going to find out how to get it sponsored and cut deals, or just have been able to pull it off close enough. But we'll see. I mean, it's hard to say.
So some rapid fire questions as we wrap this up in the next few minutes here. Do you think formless foils, OCMs, uh, are going to jump up in price?
100%.
Okay.
100%.
How much so?
Uh, Tough to say how much. I think that's going to have to get it's going to have to get settled based on what numbers start flying out. I mean, I've already seeing everyone posting, the average collector and player posting their cards. Hey, I have these, I have these, I have these. They're advertising to hope to get the players to start buying the cards. I think there's going to probably be a pretty significant markup initially. I think it's going to be probably some obnoxious asking prices over the next week because everyone gets excited when news comes out like this. And then I think what's going to happen is there's not going to be enough serious players planning to go to Vegas to start buying up those and keep the prices high. So I think what's going to happen is they're going to pop up and then they're going to realize, oh, not many people are actually going and paying for that. So I think it's going to start to come back down. And then I think they'll still be sold and advertised over the next 8 weeks. But I think they'll come down to more so just like reasonable sale numbers because people that are trying to sell cards know it's going to be a good 8 week segment to do so.
Yeah. Do you think a lot of dragon packs are going to be open in the next few weeks or next week, or do you think it's going to be a lot of the same?
My gut is not really, and maybe that's the more of the collector in me and just like how those are just so precious. And I just feel like there's other ways also to accumulate these cards, right? If so, when you rip a dragon box, you're opening the thing. It's like driving the new car off the lot, right? It's not going to be unless you strike gold in there. It's not going to be worth as much probably as that could be, in a year or 2 years from now. So if you're looking for a couple cards for your deck, why would you rip your box and have a chance to get it out of 60 cards when you could just go on eBay or message in the Discord, right? So
Right.
I think it's more of like a funny thing right now where it's like, oh, I'm going to rip my dragon boxes. I think it's more of a ha-ha thing. I'll honestly be a little surprised if people start ripping them. That'd be cool. I mean, I'm all for seeing boxes that aren't mine getting ripped. But I don't think it's really going to, I don't think it's really going to take off like that.
I yeah, I think there's a few people that are sitting on several dragon boxes that there's probably a couple that they like it's their number. It's the definitely no 99s are getting opened. But or orbital one. There's another one that's out of 299 in there.
Uh, there's 99 and there's one out of 93. One of the,
Okay.
I believe one of the
Anyways.
Thalwind. Yeah.
So I think if you're holding on to a few dragon boxes, maybe you open one just to see. I think some people might open one, but again, if you only have the one, yeah, I don't know if that's going to get open. I think maybe we see a few more collector boosters, but I don't. Frenchie had mentioned like, hey, we did it this way. It's on purpose so we can get a few more cards out there. I don't know if as many cards as they think are going to get out there. My other concern is again, I'm still chasing. Thankfully, it's Umberthine and not something that's super meta right now. But I'm still chasing 7 Formless Foil Mythics. My fear is that now I can't get that Formless Foil Nocturna because already she's not overpriced, but she's priced higher than other Formless Foil Mythics because number one, she's a first form. Number two, there's just not that many of her out there. And so if someone rips a box and finds one, I'm not going to be able to outbid the collectors out there that want it for the deck. Now, maybe when it's over and they're like, I don't want this anymore, maybe then. But I have a little bit of anxiety. I don't like to think of the glass half empty. I don't try to be anxious or fearful because most of what you fear in life never happens. But it is a thought in the back of my mind, like, man, the formless foils I'm chasing now are going to be that much harder. As someone who is just what I call a dolphin collector. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I would. My 2 cents is if I'm speaking to anyone else out there that is looking to build a set or collect certain cards over the next 8 weeks, 9 weeks, I'd say maybe wait. Now, if you really just want the card and you have the opportunity, like I know what you're looking for. If you have the opportunity and it's worth it to you, by all means, like grab it. I think there's something to be said for just like whenever you have an opportunity to get a card to grab it. But for the ones that are trying to like build a set, they're not in any huge rush and they want to get a good price. You're not going to get good price unless someone doesn't know what they have over the next 8 or 9 weeks, because we are going to be in this heightened period of everyone looking for cards and people wanting to proxy and sponsor and be the NASCAR, it's going to be wild west when it comes to asking prices and for formless foils in particular. So like there's two I definitely see for me, like there's two I need, and if I saw it right now for what I think is an overpay, I would probably overpay, because
Mm-hmm.
with formless foil mythic in particular, we know that there's so few that like even just the chance of it being available to me is more desirable than like playing the waiting game. Like, oh, that's above that's above where I wanted to go. It's going to be more like, hey, it is what it is. It came out now. It might be a little higher price because they know what's going on. I'll eat it.
Yeah, you're not just paying for the card, but you're paying for the timing of the
Mm-hmm.
card.
Yeah. Yeah. Well put.
Which I think is good to know. Now, I hope someone, was looking for an Arius of Foulwind and wants to trade it for a Nocturna of Umbra.
Put it out there, man.
Mythic. Maybe they got an extra one out there. They want to trade for the thing. Maybe we'll have some different opportunities open. But yeah, I think for some people, the price is going to go up. But that's what you got to pay to compete in this one. And it is, the way that I see it is, it doesn't take away from the Stoneseeker Cup, the World Cup. It doesn't take away from that. It adds something different off to the side. I think some people are going to look at the Dragon Cup as the end-all, be-all world tournament champion. I think others will look at the World Cup as the end-all, be-all, this is the world champion. I found it amusing that someone said, oh, we should have them play it like unofficially after the game. And it's like, yeah, with an unoptimized deck, versus a totally optimized one. I don't know about that. And they're also going on at the same time, which I appreciate. But they could have also said, you can only enter one. You can only register for one. But to have them at the same time, if you're playing in the World Cup, you can't really enjoy the Dragon Cup and vice versa. Or maybe you got to pick which one you want to watch. I don't know how they're going to have it set up. But I also want to see. I also want to see the Dragon Cup. I want to see it really. I want to see it with both, but I want to see some production quality. Really get in there. Get some commentators in there. Get some cameras. I'm picturing the Backgammon World Series. They've got a huge championship in where's the Monte Carlo? Is the Monte Carlo a city or is that an area? It's somewhere in Europe.
Don't know.
Anyways, they got a huge, I think it's in France. They got a huge championship there. It's, thousands of dollars just to enter. And it's a lot of fun to watch. It's high players. They come in their tuxedos. They have formal events the night before. It's a huge thing. But they have, the camera setups. They have commentators coming in and out, and you can watch and stream the whole event. I think that's what this needs to be. I think I would really love to see some production rather than, oh, we just got some tables going and it looks just like everything else. I think we really need to do it up. Maybe even have some butlers and chauffeurs bringing around water and and hors d'oeuvres to the players. I would like to see that. And I know some people will close it with this, and then I'll ask for your remarks there. Some people will see this and say, oh, I'm missing out. Or I can't do that. I could never do that. I'm missing out. I'm only getting half the experience. Myself, I try to look at it. I'm not perfect. Like I said, I got thoughts in the back of my head. But myself, I look at this is something I want to aspire to. When I first started collecting Wonders, I aspired to get all the formless foils. And then I got smacked in the face of how hard it is just to get one mythic formless foil. And Legend was like, oh, yeah, I'm still completing my set. And I'm like, you're still completing your set. You got so much more capital than I do for this game. So I decided to back it up and only collect formless foil Umbrathine, which I thought was an easier chase because it's not meta. It's not super duper popular like Boundless or Patria or Thalwyn. So not too many huge named characters that are popular. So I thought it'd be an easier collection. Plus, I love reanimation when it comes to the theme of a deck. So I thought that would be easier to chase. I'm still having a hard time completing it. I don't know if I'll have a hard time I don't know if I'll ever have it completed unless I just pull like something wild in the future that I'll be able to trade. And I even backed it down a little bit more and I said, okay, well, you know what? I love it. I've thought about collecting firearms on comic covers because it's such a rarity. There's not that many out there. I thought, why don't I collect Wonders of the First firearms? I thought that'd be cool. There's a few out there. It's not as large of a set and probably something easier that I can chase in the future. So I thought that'd be fun, something I could still enjoy, but wouldn't be as daunting as trying to collect an entire orbital, especially The next set they announced is going to be, I believe they said it was going to be a full 400. I think Tinsman said it or someone said it in Discord. It might have been a rumor. But if every set's going to be a full 400, that's going to be cost prohibitive for me. So I'm trying to back it down. So all that to say, you can look at this as, oh man, I'm missing out. I can't do everything. I can't go. I can't be in it. Can't be in both. I'm missing out. Or you can say, you know what? I want to be in there next year. So let me collect harder, bid higher, work harder, get that side hustle going so I get some extra income. Maybe I got some game consoles or video games or something else I could sell to get these cards going. I mean, where there's a will, there's a way, and your will can either be defeated or it can be pumped up, and you just have to have the discipline to go out there. The same thing that motivates one person could totally defeat another person. So if that's you, if you feel defeated, hey, I can't change your mind on that. All I can say is there's two ways you can handle it. You know, you got two sons with an alcoholic father. One son was an alcoholic because his dad was an alcoholic. One son never drank a drop of alcohol in his life because his dad was an alcoholic. The choice on how you view this is totally in your hands. What's done is done. How you react is how you can go. That was my little be a hero gaming moment there.
Yeah, there you go.
Bendless, do you have any closing thoughts for us to leave on?
Not better than that. I'll tell you, not better than that. But that was very good. I agree. I'm a sports guy, you know, so it's like I'm very much like in the camp of, you know, if you aspire to achieve something or do something, like that in itself is the fun and the journey. And I mean, everyone has their own things that they kind of chase for and shoot for, and I think it's important. That's part of the love of doing this stuff, especially like in the sports world. It's like that's what it's all about. You're just trying to be better, to be better, to be better, to like climb the ranks and do as well as you can. I think when it comes to something like this, where it's a hobby, but it's also now competitive and there's a cost component, I think it's just like, what lane do you want to be in? Because the game has been very clear from the very, very beginning that they wanted to target both the player and the collector. And I think this whole announcement today is an ode to that. It's basically saying like, I didn't see it coming, because like, how do you like create a competition out of collecting? But they sort of did it. Like, they figured out a way to make another lane for this, and we'll see how it ends up doing. But I think it goes in line with all the bold moves that this company's made from the start, with the no reprint policy and the AI art, and now doing this. It's like it's right in line. It feels like a Wonders move. We'll see how it goes, but if you're someone that is, you know, if it's cost prohibitive, that's like discouraging you for the Dragon Cup, like, okay, like, you know, go out and make some more money, right? Like, if you want to do it, like, if you want to play, you know, certain sports versus others that are more costly, if you really want to do it, you got to figure out a way, right? So it's like, the thing about the Stoneseeker Cup and the general play, you don't have to have much of anything. These cards, man, are pretty inexpensive, and you can get them, borrow them. You can still get your way. I'll tell you what, flights to Vegas that weekend are going to be more expensive than your deck, because the F1 Formula One race is going to be in Vegas and the flights are jacked up. So, so if you want to, you know, go that route because you love playing and you're not into the shiny stuff, like, that's cool too. I hope that people don't use this as an okay, they will, but I hope not too many, or we come down from some of the fire that comes out of like, oh, that's stupid, they're doing this just so like all the rich people can, you know what I mean? Like, that's going to get tossed around. I understand, but I think it's going to come from a place of people just not having the opportunity right now. So I hope that everyone just finds, you know, a lane that's comfortable for them and rolls with it.
Absolutely. Where can people find you, learn more about the game? Tell me a little bit about what you all are doing over at Stoneseeker Society.
Yeah, so Stoneseeker Society is a community that myself and Phil Asino, who's also in the Discord, created this summer. We felt like there was a need for some kind of friendly, casual place for people to learn the game, because Discord's a bit of mixed bag when it comes to like new people come in, they're confused where to go, and there's some intense moments in the Discord and some trash talk and some sometimes some bots and
I
things that get
call
in
it
there.
social awkwardness.
Social awkwardness, some mixed stuff. Yeah, so there's a lot going on in there. So we were like, we need a way that people can come in new to the game. We're trying to kind of get ahead of this because we know that as the game grows, we want to have a place that like people can just start saying, hey, you should check out Stoneseeker Society. It's on a separate platform called School, SKOOL. That's really gaining in popularity, community-based platform. And the way it's structured is you come in by invite. So we'll it's not like we're super exclusive. We're just like making sure that we vet who comes in. That also helps keep the quality very high. And once you join as a member, we have community space, much like Discord, where you can talk about various topics of the game. It's a little more transparent because people use their names, and most people have like real photos of themselves. So it's
Most people, you let me in
most
with my.
people. I let you. I knew you. Um, but yeah, like for the
Gotta stay
most
on brand.
part, it's a little more transparent. And there's also a classroom section in there that has our Wonders 101. So it's like we want someone to be able to come in the first day and feel like they have kind of a guided tour of like an onboarding
Yeah.
experience, and somewhere that's just a little bit more welcoming. So yeah, search Stoneseeker Society on school.com, or you could hit me up on Discord. My real name is Ben, so not a far stretch from how I came up with Bendless. Boundless is my favorite orbital. There you go. So yeah, you can find me on Discord too, and I'll send you an invite.
All right. Thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe for more content like this. 3 videos a week on the channel, and I will see you all in the next video. Adios.